Welcome to the future of media, and most importantly, welcome to the future of marketing. This is a session that we've really proudly curated with Bloomberg Media, and yeah, we've got a couple of really great panels lined up for you in the next hour and a half. I'm just here to basically pass it over to the guys here. So we've got Duncan, who's the Managing Director for Europe at Bloomberg Media, and Chinar, who is the Managing Director for Spark Foundry International. And I'm going to let you guys take it away.
Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. I think it's morning, just about. So we've got a few discussions over the next hour and a half to try and break down some of the challenges and opportunities facing us in the marketing industry. And I thought I'd start off with a few stats, actually, to kick things off, because we've done quite a lot of work in this space of trying to kind of understand and unpick what's happening. So doing more with less, common mantra, I'm sure everyone is pretty familiar with. But it's something that we know a number of our partners are being asked for, and we've been trying to help them kind of identify how best to do this. And this is really happening, I think, at a time, I guess why this is unique, is where the marketer's scope is really expanding. KPIs are shifting, which is making this challenging. And I think now we're seeing marketing as a critical function for innovation and growth, but equally sales and revenue generation, retention of staff, and sustainability. So it's becoming an even more complex world. Alongside all of this, to make this more difficult, is the rate of innovation and adaptation is just accelerating. We're seeing AI come in and really start changing our thinking. And ChatGPT, for example, reached 1 million users in just 5 days. And when you compare that to Spotify, that took 5 months, or 3.5 years for Netflix, you can see how change is happening so quickly. So I'm here with Chinar, and we are in the next 15 minutes going to start talking a bit about, how we're navigating and what some of the kind of key themes that we're focused on. We've been speaking a bit beforehand, haven't we? We've talked a lot about talent and how talent is kind of front and center of some of these challenges and getting that right and the right perspective around that. So I think maybe to start things off, what changes are you seeing? Where does talent fit into that? How do you look at that from your agency? I'm throwing like a million questions at you here. And also, how are you helping your clients through that same challenge?
Yeah, the demands of clients are higher than they ever have before, given the advancements of technology and everything that you've just mentioned, right? So getting the right balance of talent and the right people in the agencies is critical, right? Agencies are incredibly good at fostering really strong, innovative talent, but what types of talent you need is going to be important for how we help our clients grow. And so it's been really interesting for us. We've grown about 5x in the last 2 years. So it's been a lot of hiring in a very constrained talent environment, right? Coming out of COVID, the amount of people looking for work has just been less, right? And so we've had to get very creative around what are the types of skill sets that we're looking for, but also the pool of people. And I think that the great thing is we've really expanded our search in terms of trying to find talent, even if it's people who live in different geographies, who are willing to move here to the UK. It gives us the ability to have a much more diverse pool of talent, and having that diversity of skill that we found has been proven really successful, because we have people who just think in a different lens and can provide creativity to clients that we may not have just because they have different lived experiences, right? And the other piece, I think, is really hiring for the right balance of soft skills and hard skills. So we were talking a little bit earlier about the importance of soft skills, and especially when technology is moving so quickly and clients are demanding a lot, it's really about who are the right people to stretch themselves, right? And are willing to think outside the box. And so self-awareness and humbleness to be able to know that you don't know something, but you're hungry enough to learn is just as important as somebody who really knows a specific platform or channel or what have you, right? Because we're continually going to get pushed, and technology is continuing to advance. And so getting that right balance is incredibly important. Asking in interviews the right questions so that you understand, is this somebody that will grow with us as we grow? It's incredibly important, and it's been one of the biggest things to our success recently.
Yeah, I think we see that as well, the soft skills in particular, listening skills, so vital, asking the right questions so that you can actually make those connections between the business challenge and bringing the right specialists in the room or the right technology to kind of answer that solution. I think, again, we were talking about this beforehand, so I know like a little bit, and it's an interesting topic, is when you think about talent, quite often there's been a discussion around specialists versus generalists. And now I think how we're often thinking about it is you've got to be both. I know at Bloomberg, we have a very complex business, 9 platforms where we produce content, loads of data, so that, we're just often, we have so many choices. So we've kind of structured our business where our specialist or specialism for our, certainly our commercial teams is very industry focused, and that's where we're kind of going specialist. But the generalist piece is you've got to understand the whole media kind of platform and ecosystem and then bring the experts into the conversation. What's your approach then in the industry model? Because I know it's a little bit different, but it's interesting then how that all kind of works through the kind of the chain.
Yeah, I think having the specialist is incredibly important given the advancements that are happening even within platforms, right? And within different ways of being able to highlight media, right? Even in direct ways or in creative content ways, right? And so you need people who are specialists in their field, but we are always continually push for innovation. And if you silo innovation into a specific channel, what you end up doing is really having a very small eye in innovation, right? So what we've done is try to think about this. How do we have somebody that can sit horizontally across all of those disciplines and have generalists that can look at the full pitch and say, okay, we're doing all of these pockets of great things, but how do we bring it all together? And then how do we push everyone forward collectively against a specific client challenge? And getting that right balance is incredibly important. So we've had to bring in and structure our agency in a way that gives us that full innovation mindset through generalists who really know a little bit about a lot, and then having really specific people who are focused on their disciplines and can put either hands on keyboards if it's a platform or creativity at the heart of media so that they understand and can do what they do best, right? And then have that overarching talent that can really drive our business forward. And it is not the easiest thing, and there's always conflict, but having conflict is good, and we're challenging each other, and it's great.
Yeah, definitely. How does, I'm interested as well, I mean, we both travel a lot and meet clients, I guess, globally. Where do you see a fairly kind of common theme of challenges for marketeers in the industry in all of those conversations that you have? Or, are there things that stick out for you that you think are going to be vitally important as we go into the next 5 years?
There's things, all of our clients are global clients, right? And so I think for them, a lot of their challenges are a lot of media kind of channels and platforms are becoming more commoditized in the sense that they're available globally, right? We don't necessarily have as much of a reliance on very specific local publishers, right, or local specific owners, media owners. And so these global clients are trying to figure out what is that right balance. And I think that is the common theme with all of our global clients. So what is that right balance between being able to be local first, but have the ability to be consistent across everything they do in all markets? Because the reality is, in order to drive transformation, it is some of these common technologies and platforms and innovations, right? And AI is certainly is in every conversation that we're having with clients, but trying to navigate that is a global challenge, right? In many respects. And so for us, it's how do we bring that layer of like thought leadership and innovation to them and bring consistency across everything that they do, but still like people have different languages and different cultures and different ways they behave, and we have to not forget about that. And so a lot of our clients are coming to us, it's like, how do we manage the technological challenges of the expansiveness and advancement of media, but also deliver to a consumer who is incredibly still a local, like, first consumer living in their locality, right? And so being able to balance that has been important. And that goes back to talent, right? To getting people that have lived experiences from all across the world. And, you know, we have people from who've come here from Italy, and people who've had to leave Ukraine that we've said, please come on board. Like, we'd love to utilize your talent. And so it's been, it's about getting the right people in that can think in that worldly view and understand that it's not just about, oh, let's just build one global campaign and everything will be fine.
Yeah, you can't, and I guess it is a really, coming from our corporation as well, that has a very global mindset. It's not something that you can just pick up. You have to live in that environment and be exposed to those conversations of understanding the complexities of global marketing.
Yeah.
But how do you do that how do you give that opportunity to your teams to build talent, but at the same time respond to those immediate challenges and immediate results that you need to deliver and that your clients need to deliver?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is around providing the opportunity of experiencing new elements. And so we do a rotation program where we get people to work in different disciplines that they haven't had before, because if diversity of their skill set is incredibly important, because if they understand the way a certain discipline works, even though it's not their skill set, right, they'll have better appreciation of that. And when it comes to being able to manage that global and the locality, it's really important to make sure that we have the folks that have a mindset that's willing to be able to learn about different cultures and who have experienced a lot of different, how shall I say, have had a lot of different lived experiences, right? And they're willing to push the limit. And at the end of the day, our clients are looking for us to drive innovation both globally and locally, right? And so just having a mindset, right, that's willing to go out and find an answer, right, and use the technology that we have, either it's AI or calling somebody up in Italy to be able to find the answer is more important, right, than being able to pretend that you know what's going on and can just get through it right away.
So how do you, one thing that might be interesting, I guess, for us to talk about then is if you're starting out, if you're in media already and you want to accelerate your career, so if it's like having the right mindset, being inquisitive, learning and developing, finding the right data and information to shape your thoughts. How do you start on that journey? What advice would you give to yourself, or like how would you look at that? Because it's interesting.
It sounds very cliche. Ask a lot of questions. I did that a lot when I was younger in a lot of meetings. I think there's this fear oftentimes in the most junior folks that they may have the wrong answer, right? And a lot of that is building an environment where you can ask questions, right? And making sure that you're, as a senior leadership team, not holding back or chiding people who don't have the right answers. Giving people the freedom to be wrong and make them feel comfortable about it is equally as important as younger people, like asking those questions, right? And so I think when I was coming up, I was a programmatic buyer and I did omni-channel media strategy, right? And a lot of that was just asking the programmatic people, like, I'm learning this, tell me everything you know, or media owners or what have you, but also being able to go to our senior management and say, I want to start an innovation team, which is what we did when I was living in the States. And so I think it's just about, what is it that you want to do? What are you passionate about? Ask a lot of questions to that, but also don't be siloed to just what you know, right? Push yourself and try to ask as many questions as you can so you can learn about what it is you actually do have a passion for.
And I'm conscious we're running out of time, and we haven't touched on this yet, but like we should also just talk, I guess, what's important for a business to attract talent. Because like obviously the kind of demands now on a business are very different to what they used to be, and having a very clear purpose and delivering some kind of fundamentals. How are you doing that? Spark, you're obviously on a phenomenal run of growth, but with that comes obviously a lot of requirement for hiring and bringing in new talent. So how do you do that, and what's key to both your communication and recruitment strategy?
Yeah, being a part of Publicis does help a lot in that there's programs in which people can work their world, do 6 weeks in the world anywhere, and we'd help sponsor that and help them go on that journey so people can have lived experiences, right? But also for us, it's about being true to your culture, right, and who you are, right? We very much have a startup mentality, right, and what that means is failing fast and figuring things out, right? And whenever we're talking to people in interviews, we don't just say that, right? But we actually live that. And I think holding to those principles is incredibly important. And so it's as small as making sure that you're talking to the most junior folks every day so that they know that they can come up to you and ask a question whenever you're doing it, whenever you're in the office, but as well as ensuring that we're not just saying what we're saying, but actually living it, right? And holding to those principles and hiring people that are going to be willing to live those principles. We take our cultural fit part of the interview very seriously, right? Are they going to be somebody who's willing to roll up their sleeves and learn? And that has been, I think, really critical to our success, because that comes through when we're starting to build work for clients.
Yeah, I think it's so important, isn't it, for people to be able to connect with their company and see the value and share the vision. I think we have invest a lot of money in our philanthropic arm of the business, and that's always a big point, I think, for people, that they can actually get really involved in that side of the business and give back.
Absolutely.
So, well, listen, I think we are out of time. It went very quickly, but I think it set up this session very nicely. So, Chinar, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thanks
to everyone.